Welcome to our series on the Workforce Development Committee. My name is Anna Kubis, Special Projects Coordinator for the Village of Addison, and I'm joined today by some wonderful folks. From High School District 88, Dr. Scott Helton. From College of DuPage, Linda Sands Van Kirk, the Vice President of Project Higher Ed, as well as from the Village of Addison, our Mayor, Richard Veenstra. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are so excited to tell you all today about the Workforce Development Committee's work with our students and young adults through various programs like career fairs, the Mentorship Shadow Program, and Project Higher Ed. Last time, we discussed a bit about how the Workforce Development Committee began, but Mayor, could you refresh our memories about the opportunity you saw here in Addison and how you brought the committee together?
Sure, and I'd be glad to. About 5 years ago, we looked at Addison and we were looking at our strengths and our assets, and we realized that we had a large number of residents that unfortunately were underemployed and underskilled. But on the same token, we had a large, we're the fourth largest industrial park in the state of Illinois, and all of the businesses are looking for skilled labor. So we realized that we had an opportunity of potentially educating a labor force that was underutilized and bringing them to the job sites in Addison to create a win-win for our businesses as well as for our residents. So that's kind of what initiated the thought of having the committee put together, and we brought together experts from education, from industry, and key stakeholders to talk about what we can do to get all the pieces put together to make it work.
Great, and one of the members from the start was Dr. Scott Helton, Superintendent of School District 88. So what led you to getting involved in the Workforce Development Committee?
Well, about 3 years ago, as we transitioned from No Child Left Behind as a nation and moved into the Every Student Succeeds Act, we started talking about the development of high school kids beyond just college ready. We started talking about college and career readiness. And as we transitioned into our own strategic planning process, career readiness came to the forefront because we were preparing all students to go to college when that's not the reality. It's really preparing all students for a post-secondary educational experience, whether that's in a trade school, whether that's in a community college working on a partnership with certification, or it is a four-year college. So as we moved into this, we had the opportunity, as the mayor brought business to the table with the Workforce Development Board, allowing us to come in and connect, and then with College of DuPage also, it was a phenomenal opportunity because even way back in the day, Addison Trailland Willowbrook District 88 was really focused on immersing students into real life situations to develop those workforce readiness skills.
Thank you, Scott. And then Linda, you joined in a little later. Could you let us know what opportunity you saw to join the committee and what brought you about?
Absolutely. So the college recently began exploring ways that we could expand our partnerships with employers within DuPage County. Employers were telling us locally and nationally, quite frankly, that they were challenged with skills gap issues. They were challenged in finding people, employees, with the skills that they needed for the jobs that they needed to fill. At the same time, students were being challenged to find jobs. Many of them didn't have the skills the employers needed, and we were looking for ways to partner with employers and with our students to help the students find those skills. I was asked to oversee this new initiative called Project Higher Ed, and one of the first people I met when I was appointed into that role was Mayor Veenstra, and he told me about his Workforce Development Committee, and invited me to attend, and I started coming to the meetings and started to hear, firsthand from those employers as well as the high schools about some of those challenges and ways to try to address those challenges.
Great. So we've got the high schools, the community college. So Mayor, what are the benefits of having so many various partners a part of the committee?
Well, one would think that matching somebody to a job is easy, but as we started discussing, we realized that there are so many stakeholders involved, whether it's education, whether it's the manufacturers, the business owners, the community. So we knew we had all the pieces of the puzzle, but they weren't put together. So having a large group of stakeholders working together to say, okay, I could do this, I could do that, this works, really made it easy for us to come together and say, okay, here's the direction we want to go. This is what we need to do.
Great. And then through those efforts, bringing everybody together, I know, Dr. Helton, there were some programs that the high school was already working on that you were able to grow and expand. Could you talk us through some of those programs?
Yes, one of the easiest pieces was we had an invitation to teaching program where you put students into the elementary schools within the area and even using some students in the high school. But probably the most prestigious or most complicated program we had, the program that earned awards nationwide, was our medical careers program, where we actually in the 90s started putting students over at Glen Oaks Hospital, and they would go on rotations, and some of our students sat through surgeries. And if you think about it, how many students want to become nurses and after they get through college realize when they go in their first hospital setting that they don't like to see blood? Why not do that in high school? Give kids the opportunity, create the awareness, because and even when you go to Glen Oaks, you realize medicine is not just doctors and nurses. There are a lot of other people in that industry, and by allowing our kids to explore that, they get to start thinking about what's next. So this program, as I said, when I got here as principal in 2001, this program was already thriving. But again, it was just the people in Addison and Glen Oaks Hospital thinking together and partnering to give kids real life experiences.
Yeah, so that was going on for several years.
Yes.
Before the Workforce Development Committee even started, but then through the efforts kind of elaborated and expanded it into the manufacturing sector. And
Yes.
Could you talk us through a little bit about what career fairs and different career weeks look like for the high school?
Yes, the first step in career readiness will be exposure, or create the awareness. So we bring people on site from various groups within our community. As the mayor said, we've got one of the more valuable assets here. We've got the 4th largest industrial park in the state. So you can bring people in to talk about what we have as far as opportunities in our community. And then with the Workforce Development Board, we partnered with, early on, Kerry Company and SWD, where we took busloads of students from Addison Trail and Willowbrook into these environments, and they got to see, well, you're in an industrial park, but what does that really mean? What kind of jobs are really out there? So yeah, you have various people working on, doing machine work. You've got CNC operators and so on, but you also have people in, not only in production but quality control. You have marketing. You have legal. You have a wide variety of jobs within our own industrial park, within our own, within the structure of a factory, a company, very diverse. You have accountants, and our students come back seeing this, that they could probably go off and work with these people and come back to Addison and create a life for themselves and their family. It's pretty lucrative. So it's an amazing part. So the first step was awareness, and this partnership afforded us that opportunity.
Yeah, and then the students are not only going to tour, they're actually doing a little more hands-on. Is that right now?
Yes, and that's the advantage of knowing and partnering with people. They can create opportunities for our students to actually do things and try things and experience part of the job. So from taking it to the job shadowing, working some internships, and then moving into an apprenticeship situation is the ultimate goal. So exposure and then some hands-on training.
Yeah, it really gives them a better idea if that's something they'd like to pursue in the future. So.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Helton. We'll be right back with our program to dive deeper into a large initiative, College of DuPage's Project Higher Ed Addison Model Pilot.